Morning everybody. Well, we now have a new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. God help us all. Voted for by just over 100,000 Tory party members, or puppets if you like. It's like putting a shark in charge of a swimming pool if you ask me. Mind you, there is some good news this morning, I've got to say. Priti Patel's resigned, and so's that Nadine Dorries. So that's got to be a little bit of good news for this morning. But then again, getting back to Liz Truss and where does her job start as Prime Minister? Well, it's a good one, isn't it, this? Which crisis do you start with? Do you start with the cost of living crisis, Ukraine crisis, the strikes crisis? The NHS is in crisis, education's in crisis, Brexit's in crisis, possible breakup of the UK with Scotland wanting independence again, the housing crisis, levelling up crisis, the economy crisis, the crisis in the police, crime, queues at Dover, empty shelves in the shops, crops rotting in the fields. You know, we couldn't get in a worse state if you tried, to be fair. And this is really, for whoever was going to take over, this is the worst state Britain's been in since the end of the Second World War. When you think back then, to come through that horrific war of destruction and death, millions of people injured. Fortunately, the country saw sense in voting a Prime Minister that Liz Truss wouldn't have been fit to lick his boots. Clement Attlee was elected on a massive landslide. A proper Labour socialist government that came in to rebuild Britain. Britain was bankrupt, the world was bankrupt. Like I said, there were millions injured returning from war with missing limbs, injured, were unable to contribute to the rebuilding of Britain. Most of the major cities had been bombed and blitzed. There was a massive shortage of manpower, so we were quite reliant on bringing people from all around the world, many different cultures of people, with people from the Caribbean. We had the Windrush generation and everything that came over, many working, getting the NHS up and running as nurses and doctors, etc. We had many Jewish people that were looking for somewhere to go after what had happened to them during the war. Many of those came over and helped rebuild. They helped build homes, hospitals, schools, the creation of the welfare state. It was a massive. You look at the two differences. Liz Truss is coming in and she's got a massive thing to do, but we just know she isn't going to be anywhere near what Clement Attlee did. The two differences couldn't be more stark. It really is a stark difference. The thing is, what we could do with another Clement Attlee to come back with his government. People like Nye Bevan, heroes, you know, that helped rebuild this country. That's really what we need today. Unfortunately, people, I've got to say, we haven't got that in Liz Truss. If you look at her campaign, she looked incompetent. She couldn't answer questions properly. She failed to answer questions. She dithered. If this is how she's going to be Prime Minister, well, then it's going to be no different to what Boris Johnson was. And thankfully, we've got rid of him. Mind you, I've got to say, there are people talking that he might make a return. Oh my God. It's not worth thinking about, is it, really? I think if Boris Johnson comes back, most of the people in Britain will want to be moving away and trying to find somewhere else to go. People can't stand that again. But anyway, let's see what happens. But today's the starting point. Anyway, good luck everybody, and as usual, solidarity to the workers and all those fighting for justice and decent pay. Take care everybody, have a nice day.